through our veins. Sitting in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old-style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubby, Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Mucho Scali.
Son Ranto.
Michael.
Son Ranto.
Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Mucho Scali.
Are you ready for some Ranto? Are you ready for some baseball? Because it's Monday night baseball with the Ranters. Hey,
Field Fly Girl.
hey, thanks for tuning into the Son Ranto show, where we are not a football game. I realize we're on against Monday Night Football, so I don't know if it's important who's playing who. Don't they have only have bad matchups on Monday night now?
It's all bad matchups. I don't know. I watched the Bears, and they're terrible. So I don't
all
really
their
care
matchups
who's
are bad.
playing. Yeah.
So welcome to the Son Ranto show. You just heard the voice of Michael Cotton out there in Iowa City, living the dream.
Living the dream.
And
it's less than 6 months to St. Patrick's Day. So I got the green hat. I got my Irish stout in my Dropkick Murphy's glass, and I'm celebrating a few days too late, but the half St. Patrick's Day.
One week left in the season, he's already celebrating spring training. Like, that's the kind of optimism we get on this show. And IFG, what are you doing and what are you drinking?
I am experiencing a Monday, but I am drinking I'm really proud of this one. This is from Bosque Brewing here in Woodinville, Washington. It's on the other side of the lake here. And this one is called Womansplainer.
Oh, nice.
I got this artwork. It's gorgeous. It's pink. We got some women doing some work. The really cool thing about this one, you guys know I love to find the little the little tiny breweries that donate to charities and things like that. And what this beer is a collaboration with something called the Pink Boots Collaboration Brew Day thing. And what it does is it raises money for scholarships for women who work in the brewing industry.
Oh, cool. Well, I hope you're here to women-splain a few things to us tonight. Like, for example, why does Ian Happ bunt?
Why
does anybody bunt? Stop bunting.
Why are the Cubs 6 games out and people are excited?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you don't seem too excited. We said right before we went on that we're all feeling a little bit tired tonight, but I have a feeling that just by doing this show, it's going to wake us up and we'll all be up past our bedtime yet once again.
That's what I've been hoping. I'm just hoping for that enthusiasm that you guys were going to bring, but then we all got here and we are all tired. So who knows?
You were like, I was counting on you to be the guy that put us through. I do want to mention that we're doing the chance giveaway in the chat. So if you hashtag chance, you can win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom. And it's worthwhile. I've got a bag of goodies and I don't, hold on one second. I'm going to get the thing that I'm adding to the bag of goodies.
So he's adding stuff to the bag of goodies. I actually brought home a bag of goodies from Wrigley when I was there last week on accident. But we have some pretty cool hats in there, and a Sean Dunston, Mark Grace Cubs Hall of Fame pin pack. Yeah, so some of those.
And the Hall of Fame pin pack is what's going in the bag of goodies for the chance yearly annual winner. So not only do you win the message of Cubs of love and doom. Yeah, hope and doom.
Love and doom.
Hope and doom. I don't know. We'll see how I feel when I write it. Hopefully it's hope because the Cubs are in the playoffs, but we'll talk about that in 2 seconds. But I wanted to mention
East Love and Guns.
Lawyers, guns, and money. So Bernie Barron in here in the chat saying, I want those pins. Bill
Better
Sugas.
hashtag chance.
Exactly. Bill Sugas, those hats are fire. We're just doing 4-syllable sentences tonight. This is brought to you, the Son Ranto Show, that is, by our 116 Patreon supporters and also our very special supporters, Blake Beard's Tickets. You got no more games this year to be able to buy Blake Beard's tickets at Wrigley Field, unless the playoffs. But I think Blake probably wants to use any playoff tickets that the Cubs might have for us. But at the Blake Beard on Twitter, if you want great seats. Rogue Wave Creative for branding, graphic, and web design needs. You can find them on Twitter too. And the Cubs PS Plus podcast, a Northside Numbers Game. All those entities bring you the Son Ranto Show with our Patreon supporters who, guess what? It is the last show of September. Thus, we are giving away an In the Clutch t-shirt tonight to a very lucky supporter who wins the Patreon prize of the month. So, and later on, we will be welcoming Eric Wheelo to the show, who's going to tell us why the Cubs are going to trounce the Brewers all weekend long and then continue trouncing them in the wild card series. He'll be here to talk about that in the third section. But first, I want to talk about some Cubs baseball. Played the Pirates. Didn't do so well. Lost 2-3 to a team that we had barely lost to. Only one loss all year to the Pirates until we lose 2-3 when it counts most.
Well, they stretched that to 10-1 because they won the first game of this series before losing the next two. So at that point, they were 10 out of 11 wins on the season. Nobody expected them to lose the final two games. I mean, maybe one, but both of them? Come on.
Yeah, and Grandpa Lossie was pretty pissed off. He was like, here, I got my Grandpa Lossie bobblehead to tell you all about it. It's too bad we can't lose to a bad team like the Pirates. And then Derek Shelton was like, what? Why are you calling us a bad team, Grandpa Lossie? And he's like, yeah, you guys freaking stink. And then, I had a little text exchange with our old friend John Baker, who works for the Pirates, who basically said to me, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard anybody say. You don't show up another team at all. Like, just don't be like, oh, they're not very good, we should have beat. No, this is a Major League Baseball team with guys that work really hard to be awesome at baseball, and they beat.
We're the ones who were supposed to say dumb shit like that, not Lossie.
Exactly. Lossie, what a fail. And what a fail for the Cubs, because, you right now, if the season were to end today, we are tied with the Diamondbacks for the second and third spot. So technically it's the third spot because the Diamondbacks has the season.
Well, no, there are no ties. I'm sorry. This is, you know what? You brought this up so quickly.
Tied. We are not.
This is my TFC with the Diamondbacks. So for the listeners, it's showing the Diamondbacks and the Cubs tied in their records. And it says, with the Diamondbacks losing to the Yankees today, the Cubs are now tied for wild card 2. D-backs hold tiebreaker. Like, it literally says in the post that they hold the tiebreaker. Do you know what that means?
We're not
tied. It means you're not tied. Yeah. It means the Cubs are wild card 3. That there are no tiebreak. Like, there's no ties. That's just not happening. And it's been going on for the last 3 or 4 days. Everybody freaking run around out there going, oh, we're tied with the Diamondbacks, and or if we do this, we'll be tied with the Diamondbacks. We will never be tied with the Diamondbacks ever.
But we could get ahead of the Diamondbacks, and but that would put us in the second. Yeah,
you can get ahead of them, but you cannot tie with them because a tie is a loss.
Right.
Yeah. So, but let's talk about how we got to this non-tie, which is by losing to the Pirates. And we win the first game 14-1, and somehow Grandpa Lossie uses more pitchers in a 14-1 trouncing than the Pirates used. And, I'm like, what is going on? Like,
and not even like the bad pitchers. Like he was using guys, like he was using the dudes. He had guys like Lighter out there and didn't out.
You gotta give your guys a chance to come back from 14-1.
Well, I mean, the thing so Assad starts this game, and he's a guy that just pretty recently went, I think, around 100 pitches, maybe even more, and in Cincinnati went 8 innings of work. Here he goes only 5 innings. Then they start using him piggyback this weekend with Stroman, but in this 14-1 trouncing, Assad goes 5. Then you use Smiley, Kwas, who pitches every single day. Like this guy will never not pitch. Then Leiter Jr., also your big gun. And then finally, Little, you get the rookie out there at the end. But yeah, no Palencia. I mean, maybe Palencia wasn't available, but they didn't go to garbage time. And quite technically, the whole bullpen's kind of garbage time.
And so who is their kind of long man right now? Like,
I guess
it's got to. Well, or Wisniewski can go a couple of innings, and Wisniewski is not very good, so he's a low leverage guy. Like, why wasn't he out there maybe pitching the last 2 innings or something? Like, they don't use him in tight games anyway, so put him in those.
Yeah, and Assad has been one of our top pitchers. This is what Robert Sanchez is pointing out here. Forget the relievers. We had our top starters going, should never have gotten to the relievers. And that's the frustrating thing. So you win the first one 14-1. Canario with the huge grand slam. And, of course, got his ass benched the next day because of it. Because that's not how you play, Alexander.
Nope.
You gotta be a gritty ball player, like real hard-nosed and scrappy. And then maybe go like 1 for 4 with the single, and you'll be right back out there the next day. Mark my words, playing third base yet once again. But grand slams, that'll sit you on the bench so fast. Oh, it's not even funny.
They did the same thing to Velasquez when he did it.
Oh, absolutely. There are things I could say, but I've said them enough. I feel like I need to womansplain something here just to take the opportunity. Over here in the chat here, we have John Pincus, our good friend, says records are the same in every sport. That's called a tie, and then you have something called a tiebreaker. Unfortunately, John Pincus, that's no longer true. There will be no tiebreaker game. There's no tiebreaker playoff. There's no game 163.
Yeah, it's already been decided.
Yeah, if our records are the same, then it goes to a head-to-head matchup. We lost games against the Diamondbacks, so
he's saying the tiebreaker is the season series already exists, which makes them not tied, which just means that they're in the spot. I mean, I think this is semantics here. I don't want to totally sidetrack us with the semantics.
No, but I do think it is meaningful because people are used to there being, the opportunity to break a tie, and there isn't.
Play a game
it's all been decided by the computers ahead of time.
Yeah. Well, or by the teams.
Well, actually, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. It's not being decided by the computers. It's being decided by the teams throughout the season. The Cubs lost. What did they lose? 5 of 7 to the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, Cubs do not have a good record against teams above 500. They just don't. And that's where the Marlins are. That's where the Diamondbacks are.
JD and Shit Bambi were talking about this the other day on the game. And of course, what do you think Shit Bambi is talking about? Right?
Tying his Nikes?
Nope. He's saying, shouldn't the run differential matter more than head to head?
No,
win the damn games you need to win.
You gotta play the game. Just because you got to play the Pirates 12 times and you literally kicked the living crap out of them for 10 of those times doesn't mean that you're a better team. You've got to beat the team when you play. I swear to God, every time this guy opens his mouth, he's like, you know how baseball works? I want to stop baseball. I want it to be just about the numbers. He wants little league hit, run, and pitch. That's what he wants. He just wants to get guys out there. It's going to be one weekend in June, and that's going to be the entire season.
If
We're
a
just
guy,
going to watch guys run in their underwear like it's the freaking NFL combine, and
Now,
then
hold
we're going
on
to
a
call
minute.
it good.
Yeah, no, I do think at some point it gets to a point where you're like, okay, guys, if we're really boiling it down like this, let's just plug everybody's, expected numbers into the computer and spit out who wins the World Series this year, and do away with this whole playing out the sport thing.
well, I would be curious.
So stupid.
You know what I wish there was a generator for like if Chat GPT could do something like this, which is take like every day I get to load my lineup into the Chat GPT, and it will spit out what my team would have done offensively with that lineup, versus the lineup that Grandpa Lossie put out. So then over the course of the season, I could see if I could outmanage the Chat GPT with my lineup. You know what I mean? Like, because it would have been somewhat different, if I had my guy, like my order, let's say, like even if it's the same players, but my order,
Yeah.
like when they're getting the hits in all the wrong order. Like, for example, like why is Seiya batting sixth, being the hottest hitter on the team? Like, I don't know, like maybe you should change that and move Hap down because he's not good from the right side. Like, I don't know. Just, I would like
one
to
of
see
my
that.
Cubs pods the other day was I actually talked about that. I think Tauchman got a hit, and then the next two guys got walks, and the other two guys and then everybody else like struck out. But like because he got the hit first, they didn't score.
Yeah.
Right.
If the hit comes last, then we might score two.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just so interesting how that works out. But well, I agree with you, Danny. I would love to have that sort of ability to just throw out your lineup and then see how that would work out if the hits just happen the way the hits happen.
Yeah. And talk about run differential. So you win the first one 14-1. You lose the second one 13-3. And that was Dan Nielsen Day. And I do have to talk a little bit about this. First of all, thanks to here's me and Bill and Ronnie Woo Woo. And Dan Nielsen was totally obsessed with Ronnie Woo Woo. So it was pretty fitting that we ran into Ronnie on the way up there. And I had a picture of the crew, but I can't find it right now. But I will put up this picture of Dan's dad and mom and his girlfriend. And this is a bunch of his family back there in the row. And Michael, you were there too, as well. But I want to point out that Dan's dad is holding a ball in this picture. And a couple of really special things happened at this game. The first being that the Cubs, well, they gave up 7 runs in the 4th inning, and we were losing badly 7-1. And it looked like, like Dan Nielsen was like shitting on his own birthday from heaven, and then, then Dan's message goes up on the board in the 5th inning. And this is what we put up. Thank you to everybody that gave to that Dan Nielsen fund. I know that we gave most of the money to his friend Johnny, who was also there at this game. And they're going to do like a memorial or something like that I guess out there. But anyway, part of the money we used for this. And it was, so we put happy birthday, Dan Nielsen, number 00, which was his jersey number. It was worn in the bleachers by both his girlfriend and his dad. And we put Dan Nielsen, 00, son, friend, ranter. And there was a little cheer that we all gave when that went up. And then in the bottom of the 5th inning, right after this showed on the video board, Ian Happ hit a grand slam and the Cubs were back in it. And we were going nuts out there. Like,
yeah.
I was buying in. I was like, it's the Dan Nielsen rally, that we're going to get. Like Dan Nielsen's good luck. His name gets on the board, and all of a sudden, Ian Happ hit a grand slam because Ian Happ's standing right in front of us playing left field. So we're having the best time. Dan had about 25 relatives there. We're all cheering and going nuts. And then, Michael, did you see the play where I think it's his cousin's daughter, Happ threw up a ball, and Dan Nielsen's cousin's daughter made a barehanded snag? She's like this
Yeah,
20 young, like early 20s, this girl. And she freaking put a hand up. And everybody's like, whoa. And I asked her later, I'm like, you played, right? And she's like, oh, yeah. It was so nothing could be more obvious. But she gets a ball. So one of our group gets a ball from Hap. And then later on, there's this little like chunky kid who looked like me when I was like 12 years old. And hi, Joan. Joan is here.
Yes.
I'm just that's who don't know, that's Dan Nielsen's mom. And so I don't know who the kid was, and maybe put it in the chat, Joan, what this kid's name is. But the kid caught the ball in his hat and then did the most mature thing I've ever seen a young man do, which is knew what the perfect thing to do with that ball at that moment was. And he took that ball and he went up to Dan's dad, a row up, and he gave it to him. And that's how we get this picture of Dan's dad with holding the baseball. And it was just like a really special moment for everybody. And it really made me feel in like about the magic of baseball and the family of it. And like, I'm a pretty cynical bastard. And to have moments like that happen, it just, made me remember that life can be magical and that we can find great things in bad experiences.
Yeah. So. And it was wonderful. And anybody who's ever, people who go to games, I obviously don't go to nearly as many as Danny, but like, you don't get a lot of balls. When Ian Happ is throwing them into your section, that helps, but outside of that, like, it's not easy to get a ball. And then for that kid to just have the wherewithal to take it up and give it to Dan's dad was amazing.
I feel like Ian Happ is tuned in with the fans too. Joan writes in, the kid who caught the ball in his hat was Dan's cousin's kid. Okay. Yeah, that's so two. Nice. That's two in our group. And I feel like Ian Happ is also so in tune with the left field bleacher bums. And that, like, for example, and big shout out to Bleacher Jeff, by the way, who held down the fort for us. For 25 people to save seats in the bleachers, is not an easy task. Yeah. And so he went out there and he had a big roll of tape and he taped it all off for us and he made sure it could happen. And so thanks to him.
I thought it was messed up when I came down there, though, because he immediately looked at me. He goes, "You're from Iowa and you only come to like 4 games. You're going to have to leave." And I felt really bad. I had to like really plead my case just to sit with you guys. It was rough.
So, but yeah, it was. So I think Hap probably knew that, Jeff had something going on if he's taping off all those seats. And so I think he threw it in our section on purpose, maybe, either accidentally or on purpose in his brain. But he knows, I kid his arm from time to time, but he's got good aim, especially when it's close.
Anymore, we can't really talk too much about his arm because he's gunned a few guys down this year that has really opened my eyes to he's done something. He's maybe got drive line for left fielders going on or something.
So the thing that was bad about this game was the game.
was it they lost from that point on? Like, they had the great amazing rally, everybody got excited, we were high-fiving, everybody's great, and from that point on it was just a struggle to it's still fun.
Yeah, and it was, but we really needed the win. And it, here's the thing, you had Steele on the mound and he basically lost the Cy Young in front of our faces.
Oh God, yes.
You got to wonder if he's out of steam at this point. Is this the most innings he's ever taken? Doesn't bode well for him. Like, for example, like right now, he's going to pitch the first game in Atlanta. And maybe if you need him, he's going to pitch that last game in Milwaukee, or you're not saving anybody right now. You got to get to the postseason if you're going to do it. But so he might have to pitch that last game, but if you're into it, he's also set up to be your game 1 starter of the wild card if you don't need that final win on Sunday in Milwaukee. So it just doesn't bode well because he got his butt kicked on Dan Nielsen Day and embarrassed himself in front of Dan and his entire family. And but the Cubs did battle back. They did manage to score 7 runs. But if you were to tell me that the Cubs were going to score 7 runs on a day that Justin Steele was pitching, I would say they were going to win this game 7-2 or something like that.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we should put credit where credit is due. Bill Sugas was sitting out there, and like second inning, Bill just right out in the open, right out to God and everybody, just challenging the baseball gods. Bill said, "I've never seen the W in the lights." And from that point on, we kind of know, we're like, "Oh, Bill,
this is not going to go well." Yeah. So yeah, and then the next night was the same game. Basically, this time the defense was kind of crappy. The defense, it's another thing. The Dansby and Nico are looking a little tired right now. They're kind of screwing up the middle. Nico is dropping a bunch of baseballs out there. Tachman in center not getting the balls that, I mean, just maybe the legs are not under him right now. Got Belly over there playing first base. Of course, Pete Crow Armstrong's on the bench until he comes out later in the game, but he looks overmatched at the bat anyway. And then you have Hendo. He only gives up 1 earned run out of the 3 that he gave up. But the bullpen gave this one up. They just, the Cubs kept battling back, and the bullpen's like, nah. Yeah, the Cubs would get like within 1, and then the bullpen would be like, nah, we're going to give up 3 and make it even harder for you. And then they Cubs to get 2 more and get a little closer, and then the bullpen give up 2 more. And it just it was like the same thing that happened 2 nights in a row. The offense tried to battle back, and it's just the bullpen is taxed.
Yes. Oh, well, I mean, the whole team is tired and worn out. It's pretty rough. I mean, I was going through some of the, just kind of looking at some of the home stats, these guys playing home, all the guys that have played the most games at home is, oh God, Jeff Berta says PCA looks like Vitters, and he's talking about Josh Vitters. And anybody who remembers that era, that is a frightening thing to think about. We get it. A lot of people got excited about Vitters, and if you don't know about Vitters, that's what happened.
Guess what happened to him? Yeah, nothing. Mastroboni with a bad throwing error pointed out by Tom Cooper. Yeah, I mean, there was just a bad defense. It just overall looked bad. So, I mean, you got to say that they just kind of looked sloppy. And, you had the Pirates.
Oh, that was another thing, too. Morel finally got to play third base in the game that they won, and he looked good. He looked good over there. Like, I mean, nothing spectacular happened or whatever, but he looked good. He had one that he had to, a running snag and throw. Like, it looked really good. And then, of course, Ross GPT sat him on the bench or put him a DH and put Mastroboni out there, who
now far be it for me to say nice things about Miles Mastroboni, but he has actually kind of been outplaying what we expect from his bat lately. I mean, in those last 2 games against the Pirates, he had 5 hits.
Then let him DH and let Morel play third base. I'm not saying you can't play him, and I'm not denying that, yes, he had a good series at the plate, but he didn't have a good series in the field. Like, he wasn't anything special in the field. He had at least 1 error. He had another one that possibly could have been one, but he's not lighting it up defensively in any way that you say, oh, well, he's got to be on the field, and Morel had 1 game and he looked better than, he looks better than Mastroboni at third.
No, I mean, I agree.
The bat is a different, the bat is a different part of the game, because now that we have this stupid DH in the National League, you don't have to play a guy there all the time. Yet they still keep choosing someone else besides Morel. It's like anybody but Morel is, like right above Ross's door. He walks out the door, like play like a champion today, and he slaps it, just says anybody but Morel. Bam, and he hits it, and then Morel plays DH.
Well, and even with Madrigal on the shelf, he still doesn't get more than 1 start I mean, I think he started there twice this year, maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
But
all your third basemen are dead.
and
he
then
still
doesn't get to start it. But it's like when we started with only the whole season with only 2 outfielders, left Morel in the minors along with Mike Tachman and Nelson Velasquez.
Yeah.
Or no, wait, Nelly V started with us, right? Oh no, he didn't.
No, he did not.
Yeah. Yeah, just like they're like, we're fine. We'll make Trey Mancini play right. Don't worry about it. We're good.
There was a reason we had the identify this white guy game going on at the beginning of the season.
And we got Mastrobuoni at third base. We got Talkman. He'll be DH. Now let's bench him. He's too good.
Yeah, they started the year with like 8 third basemen because Horner was playing second, and the 8 second basemen they just moved over to third. And except for the 1 third baseman we had, and they're like, why don't we see what he does in center field and right? He'll play second. It's insane.
It's the GPT. Well, let's get into this Rocky series. We swept them, and we really needed to. Cubs win 6-0. They win 6-3, and then yesterday's game was pretty close, 4-3. But I want to start here. It was a really festive day in the bleachers. I mean, really festive. It's the bleacher barbecue. I didn't get a great picture, but to give you kind of the scope of how much food there was at the bleacher potluck, is you can kind of see how much this is the edge of the food and it goes all the way back. That's got to be a good 20, 25 feet of food and 4 complete rows. So the way I kind of estimated, it's like 100 feet of buffet. And there was, and there was pulled pork. There were sliders there. Here, I'll put up this picture of Fitzy. You can't really see what this is, but it's like bacon wrapped. Forget what he wrapped, but there was fried shrimp. There was a shrimp cocktail. There was donuts. I mean, it was ridiculous. It fed the entire left field bleachers. It fed the security. It fed the ushers. Everybody came through, including the bees because of course it's bee season. So and it was just amazing. There was cookies and I brought some quiche and I got on, and Miguel was out there. Miguel Esparza, the Spanish language announcer. And check this out. I got on Spanish language television. Pretty proud. Here's my Spanish debut on TV. Check this out.
A todo dar, la verdad. Así mismito, tengo a Danny Rocket con nosotros a la derecha. Danny, explícanos un poquito qué hay, porque todo el mundo tiene comida, todo el mundo disfrutando. Cuéntanos.
Sí, hay mucha comida para compartir para todos y todos los fanáticos de los bleachers traen mucha comida para compartir para todos. Si necesita, venga acá ahora.
Oye, Danny, ¿tú qué cocinaste?
Yo trae quiche.
Okay.
No sé en español quiche.
He said he brought his keys. So
Llaves. Tengo llaves.
Las llaves. Pero eso es lo que.
Not bad, huh? I held
That's
my
pretty
own.
Good.
So, of course, if you don't speak Spanish, all I said was that we brought a lot of food. All the bleacher fans brought a lot of food to share, and you should come here and eat some with us. So, I was like, can I do this? Like, I didn't know, because sometimes when you try to speak a language, you get too nervous to speak it and you can't do it.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of pressure on you in that moment, being on TV and everything. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. So I'm not watching me on TV, so that's actually it's normal, because it's not like you're like, I'm on TV. You're really just standing there with a guy.
But there was a dude with a microphone in your face, and he's like, okay, now speak another language. I mean, it's tough.
So, Bernie Barron writes in, I have FOMO. I got to say, Bernie, she sent me 2 tickets to this game, bleacher tickets to this game. And I tried to sell them. I tried to give them to people that I knew, and I couldn't. So I sold them, and I lived to play another day. And I just sold them. I tried to sell them on. Listen, can I just say this? If you're looking for tickets, anybody listening to this right now, go to Twitter first and look for them, because somebody's going to be like, I can't go, or I've got an extra, or whatever it is. Go just type in Cubs ticket into the search, or go on Facebook or Instagram, and also be very careful of scams in this way too, because there's
You're saying the exact same thing at the same time, or you're saying the opposite things at the same. Go to Twitter because
Go
you can
to
find tickets
Twitter
there.
and
be
look
careful.
for somebody who
That's
is
also
like,
where the scams are.
yeah, but you look for people who are followed by people that you're following.
Yeah, it's something legit, and or look at mine because sometimes I have some, but like the thing is, it's like you end up selling these things for $40 a piece, but the guy on the other end's paying like 65. So some fool paid 65, and I'm like out there being like $40. Who wants to go? Like face value, let's go. But nobody wanted to do it. So anyway,
Yeah. Well, getting back to so I didn't get to go this year. I went last year to the final game of this season, and I got to take part in the whole buffet thing, and it is wonderful. And I can't remember, Danny, who we were talking to, but I personally think that if there's a bucket list, there's like a Wrigley bucket list, like all the different things you want to do. You want to go to a Cardinals game, you want to, maybe get down on the field, you want to do all these different things. I would say that being in left field for the final game of a season and taking part in that, bringing food to share with people and then sharing the food is on the bucket list. It was so much fun when I went and did it, and it's amazing. And if anybody can do it, if anybody's thinking now, because you won't have any time to forget by all of next year, but yeah, just think like, hey, that last game, try and get that ticket and get in there.
Fitzy Sean writes in, yo, we are going to Blue Out the South Side on Thursday. Tickets under $1. That's a great idea. I can't go, but it's a great idea. But also, Fitzy, would you write in what was wrapped in bacon that you made? Because Haley's pointing out that you just missed your cameo with the bacon things. She also doesn't know what was inside of them. And Fitzy also says, yes, I think we need a bleacher buffet once a month. Hey, that's not a bad idea. Like the last Sunday game of the month, and we just keep going. But listen, this bleacher buffet has really taken off. Like there's really good food there now. Like people I mean, seriously, the pulled pork was like a whole tray of it. Like there was enough to feed an army. Somebody was up roasting all night. I think it was Robert Lightson, who's he just had a kid this year. He's a regular bleacher dude, sits in the first row with Mai Tai. Oh, and speaking of Mai Tai, God, what a festive day. Look at this guy walking around with a pineapple full of rum.
What a guy.
Yeah, brings his own pineapple in. And also a really cool thing happened with Bleacher Jeff, which is Ian Happ threw up. He comes running out before the game. And
I hope you just end right there. Ian Happ threw up.
And he threw up a ball to Bleacher Jeff that was rubber band wrapped with $100 bill. And so there's Jeff with his ball in the 100. You see him standing there. And then here's what the ball says from Ian. Thanks for the support all season. You guys are the best in baseball. Today, enjoy today on me, is what he said. So that, and little does he know that only buys 3 beer bats.
Yeah, I was going to say that doesn't go very far in the bleachers. Plus, nothing will piss off somebody running, like sitting there, like selling beers, like you showing up with $100 bill. Like, really? $100?
Well,
at the start of the game, you sons of bitches.
Well, it's actually cashless now, which is the other thing. So, like, Jeff just pocketed the hundo, and like at some point during the game, he was drinking something blue, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, he didn't say like, get diabetes on me. He said,
enjoy this one.
Enjoy this one on me. Yeah. So, and yeah, Wrigley does not accept cash. And Terry E asks, you can get a pineapple past security? The answer is apparently.
Absolutely. If you go to Wrigley, I mean, what a lot of people just don't seem to know, even though we've said it a number of times in this show, and it's not a secret, you can take food into Wrigley. It's not a problem. That's the whole buffet thing is not like, oh, it's a special day, bring in your food. No, you can walk in with the Lou Malnati's just in your hand. You just have to open it up and show them it's Lou Malnati's, and it's not a I don't know what you would put in a pizza box that would be dangerous, but
Black tar heroin.
yes, as long as it's not a pizza box full of black tar heroin.
Then you're good. This in from Sean Fitzy. What was in the bacon wrapped was andouille sausage wrapped in bacon with cream cheese, sour cream, 5 kinds of, what does that say? Stopp cheese?
Yeah. Stoop
cheese.
Stoop cheese.
Some jalapenos. I think it might be a
we'll have to ask Wheelo when he comes on.
Yeah,
what 5 kinds of Wisconsin stoop cheese is.
Yeah, he'll know too. His family used to make Stup cheese, I believe. the Wheelo Stup cheese factory from 1918 closed in the 70s. And a spicy sweet sauce that came with it too. So it was just incredible. And I also was there with family and friends, and my sisters and this family that we grew up with, the Belos. They recreated this photograph. So
everyone Danny's ever known, their names rhyme with Elo, like Wheelo and Belos and all of them.
Well, this is left to right. Debbie, my sister Amy, Mary, and my other sister Alyssa. And this is them, I would say probably 92-ish, 1992. There they are, the upper deck at Wrigley Field. We were all always big Cubs fans. They lived on the same block as me growing up. And so we all went to the game on Friday, and they recreated the photo. There they are now in the same order. So we're on the other side. I think they're on the first base side in this photo and third base side in this one. But I just love these. Every Christmas families do this, with like a grown adult, like with, acting like a baby or something like that. I just think it's so fun. So I really do.
It is.
So it was a really fun weekend, fan appreciation week. I had a great time. Of course, we're all hoping there's more games at Wrigley Field, especially ones like these ones. Cubs win 6-0. Tyone was pretty good. 4 walks, 4 hits.
Hey,
7 strikeouts. It was good.
I'm accepting all kind of half-ass apologies because I'm the only guy in the world who was on the Tyone just saying, you know what? Tyone's not that bad. He does the thing that he's supposed to do. He had a really bad month and he's getting better, blah, 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 blah. You guys have heard it a bunch. But I was looking because I was looking at the stats for the end of the season. And who do you think has the second most starts? The second most innings? The second most strikeouts, everything. It's all Jameson Tyone. Now, he's got an ERA that is 2.05 higher than Justin Steele, but everything else, he's right there with him.
Yeah.
Oh, he also walked way more guys and gave up way more hits and all that stuff. But you know what I'm saying?
And runs.
It's just one of those things. It's like through the whole season, everybody's so upset with Tyone, probably because the Cubs sort of passed him off as this good signing in the offseason. He's just a number 5. And as a number 5, he did everything you could ask a number 5 to do. And we have a $26 million number 5 for the next 3 seasons.
And you're happy about this.
No, I'm not happy about it. I'm just saying everybody loses their crap over Tyone. And I'm just saying it's not, he's not nearly as bad as everybody acts like he is. And I mean, in a season where, man, we needed somebody to take innings, he took a lot of innings. He's 10 more innings ahead of Stroman, who's in 3rd place.
He is worth -0.5 of a win.
Yeah, not great.
So if we lose,
I would say he was
playoffs by 1 game. He is responsible for half of that, and then the other half is some combination of Eric Hosmer and Trey Mancini.
Yeah, I don't know. If you broke it down by month, he might have been worth about -3 just in May alone. He was so bad in May.
He sure did a lot of losing in May, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then he came back and, and I still wonder how much it has to do with him coming in and trying to change some things around and then finding out that was maybe not the best thing to do.
But he was good
He's
in
an
this.
old man.
But he was good on Friday, and they actually shut out the Rockies, and he danced out of the fire. He's a professional pitcher. I'll give him that. He's knows what he's doing out there. He's curious about the game. He's trying his hardest. Like it's not like he's like some punk. So
yeah, Tom Cooper says he had a 7 ERA for a great part of the season, and he ended with a 5.05, which tells you that the end of that season, he got his legs under him and pitched way better than he did early on.
Absolutely. But, we'll see what we need him down the stretch. We need every game now. So actually, just whatever. I hope he does great. I hope he has another game just like this.
He's not a guy that I want on like in the starting rotation for the end of season tournament though. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like go out there and play, play in the series here in the playoffs. No. Maybe as a long man or something.
I do want to talk about that. I do want to talk about, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but like, maybe how this might line up for the playoffs, but I want to talk about that in the third segment. Okay. But say Attember continues, like he was responsible for almost all the offense in that game one. And he's just been freaking awesome. Like this second half, ever since he got benched. Like that's why it's frustrating that Lossy didn't do it to any of the other guys, and he continues to ride them. And then just making like in that 4-3 game yesterday, like with the whole Tauchman, the whole center field sequence, like when he pinch hit Tauchman and then he pinch ran PCA.
He used all three center fielders that, they have more center fielders like Bellinger or whatever, but yeah, they had Canario in center. They replaced him with Tauchman to hit, and then they replaced Tauchman with PCA to run,
which is dumb as shit because the thing is, so Tauchman's on second base. Now you didn't know that was going to happen. So, were you just going to pinch hit Tauchman and then just put PCA out there? Or like, did you just shit your pants and be like, ooh, PCA is much faster? How much faster is PCA than Mike Tauchman? Like they both probably score on a freaking single. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and
that's why they call it scoring position. They don't call it PCA scoring position, and Tauchman has to be at third in order to be in scoring position. Everyone at second is in scoring position.
Unless you tie France, but that's a different team.
Right. I mean, maybe late in the game, but I mean, I believe it was like the 5th or 6th when like all this shenanigans started happening. And I was like, Grandpa Lossy emptied his bench in the 5th. You know what I mean? Like he's like, let's just put it all out there, baby. Let's go. I just want a Maya on the bench. I think there was a Maya on the bench by the 6th. He had 2 guys. He's got a 28-man roster or some shit. And he's got left with a Maya, and who else would have been back there? Probably I don't know. There was one more guy though. I forget. I don't know. They probably brought back Trey Mancini just to piss us all off.
Who are we forgetting? Yeah,
there was somebody else that was on the bench. Somebody say in the chat because I don't feel like looking it up. But the other thing so that was a little close for comfort that game.
Was it Patrick?
No, Patrick started. He hit
the 2-run homer.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he did pretty good. I mean, the who looks out of steam, it really is the bullpen still, how they gave it up against the Pirates. They were still kind of almost giving it up. Like Merriweather, his outings, like load the bases. And like Saturday, loaded the bases, struck out the side. Then Sunday, he's out there again as the closer. And it was the same thing. He put 2 guys on, and then he was able to get out of it. And then the Cubs had to win twice.
Right.
The double W.
Talk about the innings. He's got the most innings out of the bullpen for the entire season, I think. He is insane how much they used Merriweather once they realized he was good.
The answer to who was on the bench was Jared Young. And thank you for that, Jeff Purda.
Oh, I got some good stuff coming up.
Well, he hit a homer and got benched.
Young love.
He hit a homer and got benched too this week. Good for him. That means Ross likes you. That's what that means.
Ross likes those guys so much he wants him to sit on the bench next to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold my hand over
sit
here.
Over here, son. You smell good. But the what did I want to? I would just got derailed. What was that? The double W. We all thought the game was over. Dude, all the flags went out. we started singing. The lights turned into W's, and then they're like, actually, foul
Wait a minute.
ball, and everybody. Dude, I haven't sensed doom like that in a while, because every Cub fan was like, curse.
I know they all shit themselves like, we pulled the flags out too early.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Fitzy saying that was bananas. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Tom said Clark ran on the field. He did. Yeah. Clark runs out with his giant W flag and was like out there. Ian Happ turned around to us, gave us like a "I love you guys" and said thanks. Well, hopefully we'll see you, kind of thing. And he ran to go celebrate with the other guys as Clark's running out. And then Ian stopped. He's like, whoa, something's not right here. And then he had to go back and field his position. And then when we finally did one, Ian turned around again. He's like, all right, we'll do this one.
Right.
So we all had a good laugh about that. But I mean, all's well that ends well. But boy, did that feel like we were in for another curse. I thought it was the wedding.
The wedding to come
The
back.
wedding curse, yeah. Yeah.
What I was saying earlier, Merriweather having the most innings, he's actually tied with Mark Leiter with 67 innings pitched 67 games. Where are the innings? Oh, Merriweather has the most. Yeah. Well, it's switched up on me. How that goes. No. So Merriweather has 69.1 innings to lead the bullpen. Nice. Yeah. And Mark Leiter has the same amount of games, but 63 innings.
So what else about this? Oh, last thing about this series. Okay. Marcus Stroman comes out of the pen when after being injured. He pitched him 2 days in a row. And then so we're like, oh, they're going to use Marcus out of the pen, and that's just how they're going to use him. But then they're like, no. Actually, we're going to take one of our most effective starters in Javier Assad. We're going to move him back, and we're going to make Stroh a starter again. Now, my point being this: if you wanted to start Stroman and say, okay, we want to build Stroman up to be a starter, that would make complete sense to me. He's been a starter almost his entire career. In fact, that would probably make more sense than what you did, which is put him in the pen at all. Just let him be an opener, for Assad, for Wisniewski, for Smiley, for some situation.
Schedule the 2 innings.
Schedule it and then say, and then if he can go 3 because his pitch count's good, then great. That's gravy, baby. We gets in a little trouble, get him out of there. You just have that plan. Then maybe by this time he's going 4 innings, 5 innings straight, getting stretched out to where he used to be able to do it. But instead they screw around, and then he didn't even look good coming out anyway. And they're like, no, you looking bad. You know what that's perfect for? Being a starter. And so they moved into starter, and it was bad again. And it wasn't bad, but he didn't go as well. Like, there was some cheap hits, a lot of were dumping stuff in, and there was some bad defense behind him too. But it's just, but Assad was great. Assad was incredible. John Pickus writing in, Rossi just wanted to mic drop announcing Stroh at the press conference. No, we were all shocked because they just did the opposite of what they said they were going to do again.
Yep. Yeah, no, but I think Pickett's kind of right. He did sort of do that. He stood up and was like, "Oh, by the way, Stroman is." He's starting.
What did he think he was doing with that? Like, did he think he was generating a
I don't know,
no hitter against the Pirates again or something? Like
he acted
like a Marietta situation.
He acted like that time when Rizzo came back on that freaking bruised up.
Yes.
Ankle. And he's like, "Oh, but what like the Steve Jobs?
I got a thing for you. It's a one-legged Anthony Rizzo on a lot of painkillers."
Can you imagine just being out there on where are all the kids taken? The thing that's killing everybody.
Fentanyl,
yeah. He's just out there on fentanyl.
Fentanyl and vodka, just
let's get it done. So anyway, that was that series. But I just found that a little bit pondering, like why but I'm so tired of complaining about their dumb decisions that like I feel like I've been abused. Like I feel like I've got Stockholm syndrome that I'm like starting to just like love my captors or something.
Yeah.
No.
Bill Sugas brings up KB, who had the kind of series that the Cubs wanted him to have.
Yeah, he was very clerchy. He clerched it up for us. Yeah, and it's nice that they give him ovations all the time because it's hilarious. Like my mom found it hilarious on Friday when everybody clapped for him. I was like, "Oh, who's up?" I'm like, "Oh, it's Chris Bryant." And she's like, "Oh, Chris Bryant's up there." I'm like, so she starts clapping, and I'm like, "Yeah, now strike him out." She's like, "Yeah, strike him out." and then he did. She's like, "Ha ha!" Like, my mom gets like,
Cub.
yeah, my mom gets pretty evil about stuff like that sometimes. Like she really wants to win, you know. And by the way, she was at many a win this year. Like she's had pretty good luck. So I'm not. If we do make it to another playoff game at Wrigley, I think it might be a good idea to get my mom into that ballpark.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think she's been to a playoff game before either. So I would like to try to make that happen. Hopefully it does. So but we should probably take a break. I mean, Eric Wheeler is going to come by soon, and we're going to do rakes, flakes, throws, and blows at the friendly confines because they're done for the regular season anyway. So how about we take first of all, we're going to give away a Patreon prize tonight. So if you're not already a Patreon subscriber, you could still get in on this and win an In the Clutch t-shirt and look as incredible as Bill Sugas does in his Morel Destroyer shirt.
Love it.
So patreon.com/sunranto. You join up. It's as little as $1, although those slots are dwindling. I've limited that because $1 ain't shit anymore. So patreon.com/sunranto, you get a Cubs pod every single day. And you're the only one that gets it because it's only for Patreon people. You get to join our Discord, which is where we all hang out after the show tonight and all the time during the game. And so you get to be friends with all of us there. And I don't know.
The Discord is so worth it. We're in there all the time talking about all this stuff. You get to really put your own thoughts out into the world, and then we talk about them and we go back and forth, and then you watch the show or listen to the show, and all of a sudden you're like, I said that on Discord, and you can get really angry and like scream, and people think you're nuts because they don't know what's going on in your headphones.
Yeah, we basically have the Discord just so we could steal all the other smart people's good ideas to put on this show. So thank you.
Yeah, Bill says, and you don't get suspended.
Yeah, exactly. And Haley says, I think your friendship is worth $1. Yeah, exactly. I come cheap, people. So, and Alex says Discord is amazing. Ranters are the best. Oh, and there is a new, I'm going to bring it up. I forgot to do it, but there's a new obvious shirt for Sun Ranto. And
we saw that.
So, yeah. So anyway, let's take a break. We'll be right back.
All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/sunranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn, line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Sun Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Sun Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Sun Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a Super Ranter today.
Yes, become a Super Ranter today, won't you? For the price of only half a cup of coffee. Remember that old Sally Struthers commercial, the Save the Children, where they show you pictures of these poor children that were starving to death and in the middle of the night? That's
for
us.
less
That's
for
me.
for less than you'd spend on a cup of coffee, you can get a Cubs podcaster drunk.
Exactly. And not even that drunk.
No, not really.
So, all right. Well, I did just mention the obvious shirts. I managed to screenshot them in the break there. Check those out. I feel like I'm part of the family now.
How much money is going to you, Danny? I'm going to guess 94% of the profits go straight to you.
You know, we didn't really work out like how that's going to work out. With, yeah, I dropped the wrong link in the chat, by the way. I'm going to try to erase that real quick. I dropped the link I just sent to Eric Wheeler because you know how everything works together.
Oh, Jesus. Did you just invite everyone in the
I
chat?
invited everybody. So if anybody wants to come on the show, come on by. I just accidentally dropped the wrong link in the chat. Haley Kolar said she just signed up for Patreon. So thank you very much.
Yay!
Thank you, Haley.
So anyway, if you go to Obvious Shirts right now and you type in Ranter or Ranto, Sun Ranto, you're going to find all these shirts right away. So it's our store. And I actually don't have a deal with Joe from Obvious Shirts. To be honest, I owe him like $300 from when he made when he made the Bleacher Bum Band shirts, and I tried to send him an invoice and give him the money, but he never got with me about it. So I just kind of told him, I'm like, sell these Ranter shirts, and then maybe I don't owe you $300 anymore. How about that?
Get out there and buy those shirts and pay off Danny's debt.
Pay off my debt. Because here's the thing.
I do like the one that just says Ranter with the white.
Oh, you like the white one? See, I think
I like
the
the white
red
one outlined in red. I like that a lot.
Okay,
that's the one I want too.
Okay, then, and of course, I'm the odd man out. I'll take the red with the white outline.
And do you see, Michael, your artwork is now on an Obvious shirt. You see on the left sleeve, we got
I
little.
see that. And
actually, as long as we're here, do you have a vector version of that image? Because Joe would like it to be a higher quality image than what I sent him. Which
I love that it's like this stick figure, right? It's just like
no, really hold on. We need the high-res version of this
cartoon stick figure that has made it onto t-shirts, has made it onto bags, all sorts of stuff.
Made it onto Chris Salato's leg.
And Joe is like, you know what? I really need a higher quality version of that. I don't think he understands the whole idea behind that guy. It's low quality.
Yeah. The more pixelated, the better for us. If it looks like people got to get real close to your elbow, just so you can smack them in the face.
Yeah, no, I do actually. I think that's actually pretty cool. I'm not a huge fan of the Obvious shirts because I've got my body's a little roly-poly and they really like to cling to it. So I got to get, I don't know, maybe like an extra big one so that it doesn't stick to me quite as much. But
maybe
I might have to get one now.
Shirt. Your
what?
goal shirt is to look ripped in an Obvious shirt.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There's your goal. Looking ripped.
If you can look ripped in an Obvious shirt, you're like Chris Morrell level.
Yeah, Chris does look good in an Obvious shirt. In fact,
I know
Chris looks good in every shirt.
Yeah, Joey W
Makes
says
you think
shows
he's an
off
in the
man
shirt.
boobs, and that is exactly what happens. It tucks up under here, and then I kind of sweat a little bit, like
Yeah.
right here, and then
Yeah.
I just got the little side boob sweat.
You need a girdle. It's very simple.
The girdle.
I
Yeah.
think they call it a manzier.
Yeah,
A
man's ear.
ear.
Exactly.
Remember that
I'm
saying?
just gonna stick I don't know, Kleenexes and shit up under there. Okay, you know what?
You
Let's
can
move
put
on.
deodorant under there. That's one of our girly tricks.
Deodorant under the is that why breasts smell so good?
It's one of the reasons.
So let's get into some of these rakes and flakes, because I find this interesting. Some of these splits, and
Yep.
you're just going to do home splits.
Okay, so yes, so this is the final. We're gonna get the final raker, flaker, thrower, and blower for the home field Wrigley season. So it's only the 81 games that were played at Wrigley, and we're gonna play a little quick game with Danny and IFG here to try and figure out who these guys are.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you're gonna do the drop, or are we just gonna get going?
Yeah. Here we go.
Today I'm going to show you how to rake.
How does one rake?
Okay, so the players that I used had to play at least half the home games at Wrigley Field. So our lowest viable raker or flaker is Trey Mancini, who played in 42 of the 81 games at Wrigley Field this year. The most games played at home was by Ian Happ, and he played 79 games. Okay, so these stats are going to come between 42 and 79 games. All right, who had the most home runs at home for the Cubs this year? Here's a hint. The difference between first place and fourth place is one home run.
Mm.
So a bunch of guys tied for second is what you're saying, or second or fourth.
Yeah. The first through fourth is really bunched.
Why don't you answer first?
Hmm.
And answer in the chat too. Everybody, give us your answers.
Pincus says wisdom. Haley
think
says morale.
I think.
Tom Cooper says wisdom.
They might be looking it up, so don't look it up. You got to just do this off the top of your head.
I think I'm going Christopher.
Okay, she's got morale. What do you got, Danny?
You know what? I was going to say Morel too, but I'll go with I'll go with Pincus and the wisdom people, and Fitzy is saying wisdom. I'm going to say wisdom.
Oh, you guys are wrong. Unfortunately,
Is it Bellinger?
It's Bellinger with 14.
Ah.
Morel, Swanson, and Wisdom all had 13.
Wow.
This year.
So I was close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very close. That's why it was a good
Good job,
question. I was
Billy.
like, wow, I didn't think it would be that close. Okay. So everyone knows that Hap had the most walks this season. But who was in second place at Wrigley Field? Who had the second most walks at Wrigley Field this year in this lineup?
Who took a lot of walks?
I think this is I've got a few stats on this one. I think this is going to be interesting.
Saya.
Okay, we got a vote for Saya.
I'm going to say Gomes.
Okay, we got a Nico in the chat. We got a Dansby. We got a Saya. Bill Sugas with the win.
Oh, Talkman, of course.
Yeah, Mike Talkman.
All right.
And everybody's chiming in. I can't get rid of the thing. Yeah, so Talkman had he was second so he beat out Swanson and Horner despite playing in at least 20 less games than either one of those guys.
Wow.
He also hit 289 at Wrigley and led the team in OBP.
What a guy.
So, Talkman, the summer of Talkman was real at Wrigley. Yeah, he was really like when he was at home at Wrigley, he was on it. So I thought that was fun.
Well, and a hometown boy. So that's kind of cool to see that, the Palatine, the pounder, and all that stuff. And then the home cooking to be real like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is. It's fun. Okay. There were a lot of triples this season, and Wrigley is a tough place to hit triples. But who hit the most at home? And I can open it up. There's no limit on this one. You guys just aren't going to get it right.
Miles Mastroboni.
Okay, you went with Miles Mastroboni.
No, I don't think that's true. I'm going to say Saya.
Okay, Saya.
Bill Sugar
Jan
says
Gomes.
Gomes. Yeah, Gomes.
Gomes was second.
I knew he'd had a couple.
That's amazing that a catcher was second.
Was it
Yeah,
Morel?
no, I remember being like shocked every
No,
time
you
he
gotta-
did it.
Yeah,
But,
you got
you
a guess, IFG?
Okay, so my guess was Gomes. But let's go with old Glass Hammy Madrigal. Sure.
Okay. Well, no one was ever going to get this right
Okay.
because it was Jared Young.
What?
Despite only playing 10 games at Wrigley and having 25 plate appearances, he hit 3 triples. The guy hit 3
Amazing.
triples and 2 homers
Oh, you got to bench that guy. Get him out of here. What a bum.
all day long, all season. Everybody's giving me crap over my love for Jared Young. Man, when I saw that shit, I'm like, I'm putting that in there. I don't.
That's incredible. Good job, buddy.
That is
Wow.
nuts, right? Yeah,
That's an answer to a
he had
trivia
3
question. Yeah.
triples. Yeah. Okay, so now for the overall Wrigley Raker of 2023, that's Cody Bellinger. He was 4th in games played, but he had the most home runs, the most RBI, and the highest OPS of qualifying hitters. So excellent. All right, so now we can move on to the Flakers.
I haven't worried about flakes since my grunge days. Remember them?
More and more.
Okay, here we go. The most hits on the team was Nico Horner with 92 at Wrigley this year, which is actually pretty good. But who had the least amount of hits at Wrigley this year? Keeping in mind that the lowest number of qualifying games was Trey Mancini at 42. So who had the least amount of hits with at least 42 games?
Mastroboni.
I'm sitting here going, how many games? Was
I'll
Eric
let you guess
Hosmer in?
again, Danny, because Mastroboni did not qualify. He's got 29 games.
Got to be Hosmer.
We got no, Hosmer didn't have enough games.
Yeah, no,
Amaya didn't have enough games. We're going, it's got to be above 42 games.
Okay, above
Tucker
42
did not have
games
enough.
at Wrigley. Above 42 games at Wrigley, so that's like a full half season, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Lowest number of hits.
This one is going to be a bit of a shocker as well. Okay, we got to vote for Gomes.
God. Patrick
Gomes had-
Wisdom. Patrick Wisdom.
Okay,
Ooh, that's a
IFG.
good one. Wisdom's a good choice, but let's go. You know what? He had a really rough run there. Let's go Saya.
Okay, it was Patrick Wisdom.
Oh.
So Patrick Wisdom played in 45 games at Wrigley.
He only hits homers.
He only
Yeah.
had 20.
No, I feel like that was the right answer. I just didn't want to have the same answer as you.
Right. He only had 22 hits, but 13 of those 22 hits were taken home as souvenirs. He had
Wow.
9. He only hit the ball 9 times where it stayed in play.
9 times.
That's insane.
That's
Over
hilarious.
half of your hits half a season were out of the park. It was amazing. Okay, so who on the team drove in the least amount of runs at home this year? So the least RBI.
Hap.
So you know, okay. Hap is
Come on,
Danny's guess. We got see, we got a Barnhart in here, Miles in here, Hap in here. Haley says, "Oh, P Wizzy tied second for homers and yet had the least hits. That's insane." Yeah, agreed. And Tom Cooper gets it correct with Madrigal.
Yeah,
So
that's
Nick
the right answer.
Madrigal, with the same number of games played as Wisdom, but with more at bats, only drove in 11 RBI.
Really?
So he drove in.
I feel like you can get 11 by accident.
RBI than Wisdom hit homers, and he had more at bats. And that's tied with Miguel Amaya, who played in 20 less games and had less than half the at bats that Madrigal had.
That's insanity.
So Amaya, if Amaya gets what Madrigal had, I mean, he's way better.
It's all the specialization too. I feel like it. That's just making these outsized numbers happen. Like, like you're only using Wisdom when you're like need the power. So you're just power up. Like that lineup.
True,
that
but
last
Nick Madrigal played.
Patrick Wisdom's like your Hail Mary. I need a run right now. Let's hope he hits a dinger kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he's only going out there to do that. Yeah.
Right.
But Nick Madrigal was out there a lot, and he was always in the back of the order. There should have been guys on, but I do believe that he got up a lot early, like, first or second batter with nobody on and just got on base.
Yeah.
I think he did that a lot.
That's more his role. That's more what it should
That is his role. But that guy was playing, he was batting ninth probably most of the year.
So is that the end of Flakes?
No, one more. So this one is a bit more skewed toward the guys that played the most at Wrigley this year. But who had the most strikeouts? Who had the most total strikeouts at Wrigley this year? So it's going to be one of the guys that played the most at Wrigley. Obviously, because if you only play 40 games, you can't really get the most strikeouts.
Counting stat.
Ian Happ.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Ian Happ had 84 strikeouts in 79 games. Now, Christopher Morel had the most Ks per game with 1.22 strikeouts per game to Happ's 1.09. And those two, along with Trey Mancini, were the only qualifying players who had more strikeouts than games at home.
Wow.
So, yeah. And then, so the Wrigley Field flaker for 2023, based on OPS, is Nick Madrigal. Everybody loved how much Nick Madrigal did on this team, and everybody's in love with him now. Oh, he plays a great third base, and he does all this stuff, and they talk about it, how he hits, and they're so in love with him. Well, guess what? His 661 OPS is 61 points lower than the next guy, and that next guy was Trey Mancini, who doesn't even play baseball anymore. So, hey, Nicky 5 steps, baby. Not good.
So are you ready for thrower?
Yes, now we're ready for throws.
Throw up my hands to the Lord.
Okay, so we are not doing a game on this one because there's just not, I mean, the pitching stuff is a little too crazy. So I'm just going to run through it. And there's no surprises. Justin Steele, of course, was the best pitcher with a 2.65 ERA at home. He's got 105 strikeouts in 102 innings pitched at Wrigley Field this year. So I think he's at around 160 some, almost 170 innings. And the vast majority of those were pitched at Wrigley Field. And that's great. But the big number is that despite having pitched at least 24 more innings than the next best guy, who was Tyone, by the way, he only had 21 total walks at Wrigley Field this year. So he's clearly far and away the thrower for Wrigley. And from the bullpen, I'm giving this to Adbert Alzolay, who really got it together and became the closer that every team needs. He got 10 saves at home in 11 chances, and his whip was under 1 at Wrigley. And he's the only guy in the team that can say that, except for Brandon Hughes and Luke Little, who only had 10 innings between them. So, like, he had, like, in the 30s for innings, and he had a 0.95 whip, and the only guys better had, like, 7 and 3 together. So, But yeah, that's your throws.
Except for that he just lost that Steele just lost the Cy Young and Adbert's on the shelf. So
Exactly.
congratulations. Your season's over.
All right. Hit the blows.
Yeah, that's right. You just
put your lips together and blow.
Yeah. So, okay. Before the season started, I would have absolutely said Drew Smiley. Everybody knew that I had a hard on for Drew Smiley. I kind of was angry with him. I wanted Assad, and I definitely would have said he might be the blower for the season. But then he was amazing in the first half. And I had to cover so many of his games on Cubs Pod. It drove me insane because he was always winning. And I had to eat my words every single time I did the Cubs Pod. So it is surprising now that he was bad enough in the second half to actually get the blower for the year. His 5.60 ERA at Wrigley is the worst of any pitcher on the team, except for Anthony Kay and Daniel Palencia, who are only a little bit worse than him, but they have much smaller sample sizes to skew their numbers. And because he did it with 10 starts and 8 games out of the bullpen, he wins it for both starter and bullpen. He's a double blower. And that's it.
The old double blow.
Old double blower.
That'll get you every time. Thank you for putting that together. I found those splits so interesting. I want to do some more of that stuff in the offseason.
Well, when we get to the end of the season, we can do this again. I'll look them up. We'll play another quick game with the hitters. We'll do it again with the away stats.
Fun.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to bring on Eric Wheelow, who's going to come and tell us all about how the Brewers are going to crumble in an epic collapse within the next couple of weeks. It's going to be exciting to hear about, and I know you're going to want to. But first, I want to play a commercial for In the Clutch, which one of these T-shirts is going to be won by a ranter tonight. So please join on. You could still get into the contest. All you got to do is go to patreon.com/sunranto and you can win an In the Clutch shirt. They got a lot of cool stuff there. 10% off with code sunranto. And here's a commercial.
If you like the Cubs a bunch, buy your t-shirts from In the Clutch. We've got all the best styles for you. Dansby, Saya, Morel too. Clark Fly in his double U. Cody Bellinger smoking dupes. Vintage shirts from days of old. Patrick Wisdom and Nico. You'll look sharp wearing your stro. 10% off with the code SONRANTO. SONRANTO. InTheClutch.com is your store for the most fun baseball shirts on the planet. Don't forget to use promo code SUNRANTO to knock a couple bucks off your purchase. Stack or die, we need more cups. Get it all at In the Clutch. Cause if you like the Cubs a bunch, buy t-shirts from In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch. Get it all at In the Clutch.
Do you ever find yourself longing for long walks and talks about catcher metrics? How about a coffee over run differential? Maybe a candlelit dinner dissecting what exactly is the curious case of Miles Mastrobuoni? If you have, I have just the place for you, the Cubs PS Plus podcast. Come join us. Cubs PS Plus, a Northside Numbers game, can be found wherever it is you get your podcasts, and on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Cubs PS Plus, a spin on the baseball metric OPS Plus. Are you ready? I'm ready. Here we go.
Welcome back to the Sun Ranto Show. I've taken my hat off because I was hot.
You're always hot, Danny.
I know, baby. Look at me. So just wanted to run through this real quick. Michael, you did some injury updates. Anything interesting on that front? Like, are we going to get any of these guys back? Boxberger's gone. Candelario's been gone. Adbert's gone. Madrigal's been gone. Anybody?
Yeah. So the only interesting thing is that Candelario is back doing full baseball activities on Friday in Chicago, and he's currently day to day. So it's possible we see him again. And then Adbert had a light bullpen session on Friday that went well. He was supposed to play catch on Saturday and then have a more intense bullpen session on Sunday. The 25th, which is today, is technically the last day of the 15-day IL. So he could come back, but I was not able to find anything on whether or not he threw well today.
Well, so we don't know if there's a chance he'll come back, but you should put #chance in the chat and win a message of hope and doom sent to your house with the picture of Frank Chance on it. Hello, I'm Frank Chance. we should do Tickers, Evers, and Chance theater, shouldn't we? Like, you get a Tickers one, and the other one you get an Evers.
We'll do a clutch cargo. Clutch cargo with the hands.
So I would like to invite onto the show our good friend and enemy, Eric Wheelo. Eric, the Brewers, first of all, welcome. But the Brewers are about to collapse yet once again in front of your face. And you already won your ticket to the show. I get it. And then you're going to try to set things up all week, and your team's going to get tighter and tighter and tighter, and they get more and more nervous. And Craig Counsell's butt is going to turn into just so tight that he could squeeze a diamond out of it. And what's going to happen is the Cubs are going to get into that third wild card spot, and then they're going to go up to Wrigleyville North, and you're not even going to win a game. I'm not even buying Game 3 tickets because it's not worth my time to even front the money, because the Brewers are just going to waste it on another loser team. So, how are you going to deal with that epic collapse? And what are you going to do this offseason?
Did you just recite me a Cubs romance novel? What are we doing here? Is this all you guys have left, is spinning some land of make-believe stories about what this Cubs potentially going to do? I mean, Cotton, you're sitting here talking about stats. You're like, we should do that in the offseason. Guess what, guys? That's coming in 6 fucking days. So, guys, guess what? It's a Bob Uecker alarm clock. Your time is done. It's closing time. You don't got to go home, but you can't fucking stay here. All right. It's over. It's over for the Cubs.
Don't you know that the Cubs are tied for the second wild card spot right now?
Are you not impressed?
Yeah, you're lucky. You're lucky. Oh, you want to spin fucking make-believe stories here. You're lucky we tanked it against the Marlins after clinching, because guess what? We got plans for you guys the last series of the year. We want to do it ourselves. We want the pain to feel real. We want to put it right up your assholes with no lube, and we're going to do it ourselves at Miller Park. That's what's going to happen. Are you guys ready for that?
Every batter, all 9 batters just getting pegged.
All of them.
I'm gonna eat extra cheese curd.
Now who's writing romance novels?
I will tell you this. I'm gonna eat a bunch of cheese curds and laxatives and just go into Miller Park on Sunday and just remember that guy that was caught peeing all over the concourse? Yes. Nothing yet. Because if we get eliminated on that Sunday, I'm gonna eliminate all over the concourse.
Okay.
They hired that guy to play Bernie.
Your team's shit in the bed in September, so this only tracks at this point.
I go down with my team,
No, you've proven it just through this false, I say it all the time on here, this false confidence. You live and die with this team. Cotton, I just got to call you out. You were so confident right before September started. You said the Brewers were going to tank. Oh man, you said you had to go on and defend your bad Assad take. Now you got to defend this one as well on your own podcast.
Wait till he gets into his bad Tyone take again.
I fucking hate this, but these fucking Brewers every goddamn year. We're rolling into since what 2018, I think. Fucking rolling into September every year, and I'm like, there's no actual team up there. They're fucking glue and scotch tape and bullshit. It's just fucking nothing. And they just win.
Yeah, we just win. You know what happens?
Win in September, and it drives me insane because, I mean, I don't know how a team
Craig Counsell
can look so bad throughout, like just on paper. You know what? This is where shit Bambi has a point. Let's play these games on paper because then the Brewers would be off in fucking no man's land and the Cubs would be in first place. Because
the Brewers got lucky, huh? Games. Who do we get? We picked up Mark Hanna, right? We got Josh Donaldson, who's hitting bombs. We got William Contreras, who we picked up in the offseason, who's raking. Carlos Santana, got him from the Pirates, hit his 300th home run in September. We got Rowdy Tellez striking dudes out. We're scoring 12 runs in a single inning. Lucky or just a team getting hot at the right point, ready to make a run? What'd you do in the offseason?
They made the right moves at the trade deadline, and they are hitting way better all of a sudden because up to this point, that expected win-loss, the great historian of baseball, Pythagoras, used to say that the Cubs should be 9 games ahead of Milwaukee, and now it says the Cubs should only be 2 games ahead of Milwaukee because Milwaukee has just been coming on hard.
And you know we blamed for that? Grandpa Rossi. That's who this is on, right? I love this because you guys did well enough, and I've been saying it. I hope you do just well enough where you have to bring him back, and then you're just stuck with his ass.
Eric,
it's been my nightmare.
Eric, we have a very special guest that we'd like to bring on because I know that up in Wisconsin, you guys are really into polka and kind of like that northern music. So I know. I know you're a big fan of yodeling. Like every time I go to your house, you're like putting on yodel albums, and we just sit there and listen to that all night long. So
I have sex to yodeling. That's my that's my soundtrack. Yeah.
Well, I hope this doesn't turn you out too much.
Hit record.
That's baby making music in Milwaukee. That's what that is.
We brought on a professional yodeler, Little Everett Yoakum. Welcome to the show.
Yodelay, yodelay, yodelay.
So
there it is.
What are you going to perform for us today, Little Everett?
Yeah, 2024 is coming up, so I'm going to sing the yodeling song for the 20th anniversary of Home on the Range. It came out on April 2nd, 2004.
Okay.
Ready for it.
You see, I yodel low, the sweetest way of resting yet devised. 'Cause when I yodel low, why looky at him, cows got hypnotized. He don't prod, he don't yell, still he drives them doggies well, which ain't easy when you chaps who label XXXXL. If you're looking from above, I'm point of view. I sure can yodel little lord little yodel little.
Hey.
Oh, that was amazing. And what a great choice. Nothing says Brewers like a song about cows and triple XL and all of those things.
So, Little Everett, can you? You're a big Cubs fan too, right? So, who's your favorite player?
See ya.
See ya.
He even had an exit. I love it. Oh, nailed that performance.
Yeah, he really did. We haven't heard from Little Everett since I used to do those spaces in Twitter. And Little Everett would come on every now and again, and we'd take a break right in the middle of the conversation. Be like, Little Everett's here. Let's take a break. We need a palate cleanser. And things are getting a little hot. We need a yodel. So
he absolutely killed that. That was great.
He can really sing. Okay. Follow him on TikTok. He actually has way more followers than I do on TikTok.
Well, because he does something people want to listen to, Danny.
That's the trick. So the Brewers finish out. Well, it doesn't even matter. You already won, and you're kind of stuck in that first wild card spot. Do you have a preference of who you think you do better against? Would it be the Cubs, the Marlins, or the Diamondbacks? Because an outsized chance of the Reds, I would say still, but mostly it's going to be those teams. Who would you prefer to face amongst them?
I think I'd prefer the Marlins, and it's not because I'm dodging the Cubs. We're going to just end it in this series end of year. But I like the Marlins because you go up against that team, the pitching staff doesn't have a ton of depth to it. They got to go into that bullpen quickly, and we've proven we can beat them. So I like our chances against the Marlins, and that's probably who we'll face.
Yeah, that's one thing that we were not able to do was beat the Marlins. So it's gonna. So don't ask us how to do it because we don't know.
And I mean, come on, the in division game between us, we know it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be it.
That would mean that we would have to play at least 5 straight games against each other, possibly 6,
Yes.
and all of them in Milwaukee, I think, right? Like that would suck. Like I can't.
Well, and Robert writes in, didn't the Marlins just take 2 of 3 from these assholes? Yeah, but they just clinched, so they didn't care. Like
we didn't care. We were bombed. We were all drunk, and we beat them 3 of 4 like the week before that. So,
and that is kind of like
recency bias, really strong with Cubs Nation. Tends to be a theme with these people.
And that's kind of
I don't think you know us. We've been talking about 2016 for 7 years. There's no recency bias here.
So, well, first we got to face the Braves, who used to play in Milwaukee. So we've got like an all kind of Milwaukee week, if you want to consider it that way. But
how are you guys feeling about this series? I mean, Braves are in.
It's the same as you. Like, does this? I don't know if this is good for us or not, because these teams have already clinched. They're already kind of set up. The Braves are going to get a bye, no matter what happens this week.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter. Does it even matter if they have more wins than the Dodgers in the end? Probably in some home field if it became down between the two of them, right? But so they're going to try to win. I'm not going to say they're going to throw it out there, but they're not going to be sending their aces out there for 120 pitches, trying to. They're going to be resting guys. You're going to see some of the utility players starting, but that's not necessarily good for us. Like,
you got guys who are fresh who are trying to prove something coming up.
Yeah, exactly. And that can be, and the Braves are a deep offense. Like they've got all year long in every single category. They've hit the most home runs. They got Acuna like breaking records left and right, just on having a monster year. And so it's not like he doesn't want to break more records. Like he wants to go out there. He wants to keep playing.
But this Braves team isn't as scary as it was last time I was on the show at the start of the month. I mean, Charlie Morton just went on the 15-day DL. Max Fried's on it. It's like they're going to have some issues with starting pitching, and I think that plays to the Cubs' advantage going into this series right now.
It could. I mean, the Cubs have never really risen to the occasion this year too much. Like it has been. It's hard to think that we're like going to march through this week triumphantly with like a 6-1.
Mm-hmm.
Like that just doesn't seem like us. I think it's more of like a 4-3 and hope the other teams go 3-4 kind of thing, and I think that's where we're at.
And you got the Marlins, they got the Mets and the Pirates coming up.
Yeah, let me put up these, and everybody can tell me what they think. Here's the Diamondbacks schedule. They've got the freaking White Sox, who are just decimated, and then they've got the Astros, who are in the Catbirds. Well, actually, they're fighting for it. Astros are fighting for it still with the Mariners. So
Mariners and the Rangers, all three of those teams are going for it. Yeah,
one of those teams
you're watching that race a little bit more, right?
Yeah, what's going on in that race, IFG, right now? Are the Mariners in?
No, they are. They've kind of hit a skid. So we are. Basically, all of my teams are the same team. We are extremely concerned at the moment.
And then the Reds, they don't barely play. They've only got 5 games left. There's one cut off here. The Guardians for 2, and then a day off, and they're off today. So they're going to have a tough path just because they don't have that many games left, and they're 2.5 back. So I don't think that's going to be bad, but they don't have a tough schedule. Like they could, if they want to, they could win all 5 of these probably, but they probably won't. And then Miami, yeah, like you said, Eric, the Mets and the Pirates, pretty easy for them. So, but I don't know, Mets, Miami, they play each other pretty hard too. So,
and we got the Cardinals coming up, who obviously don't want to let us win anything.
Yeah,
but it's at home.
Yeah, the Cardinals don't want you to win, and so they're going to be playing you tough. We haven't seen the Cardinals in so long. I don't even know who's on the team anymore. I mean, honestly, like, is Wainwright still there?
Yeah, it's been since July, right?
Yeah,
July since we saw the Cardinals. It's insane. Yeah. By the way, in August, the Cubs did beat the Braves 2 out of 3. So, you know, we might be coming in. Of course, one of those starts was a Fulmer win, and he is dead. Assad started the game and went 3.2, and then the other game was a steal start.
Well, so. and here's what's going to happen. They're skipping Hendo to pitch him in Milwaukee. So he's not going to be starting in Atlanta. For I don't know what reason. I mean, they did freaking club him. That remember he had like a perfect game going, and then in the 4th inning he gave up like 7 and he couldn't get it out.
Yeah,
do you remember this game? This was like in August, and then but here's what we're gonna throw in Atlanta. We got Steele, Tyone, and Stroh is going to start again. So that we'll see what happens there, and then it's probably going to be Kyle Wicks and set up to be maybe Steele again for that Sunday last matchup. But as far as the Brewers would go, we're going to miss Burns.
Yes.
But because Burns is going to pitch on Thursday.
Yes. And then you're going to get Woodruff and Peralta the next 2 days, which isn't an easy task. Adrian Hauser.
And then
against Justin Steele on that closing day.
Yeah, I mean, and Steele's looks tired, so it's like we don't really know what we're going to get there right now because the last couple starts haven't been great. But it's like, yeah. So those are your matchups. I mean, it looks like you're looking at like a Burns Wicks. No, wait, sorry, Woodruff Wicks. Woodruff Hendricks, Wicks Peralta, and then Steele or I don't know, Assad. I don't know. This is going to be a long, crazy week. And I think that, you know, Grandpa Lossie's going to have the quick hook a bunch. I think he's going to be like pooping himself early.
But how is he going to have the quick hook?
Like,
who does he have in the bullpen?
Do you remember Joe Madden when he pulled Kyle Hendricks in Game 7 of the World Series? That kind of quick hook.
Well, but he had John Lester to come in after him. I mean, he had somebody there. I don't know who the Cubs have right now to do that. Unless
bring in Merriweather. Merriweather.
Probably will be. Unless they want Wisniewski. I mean, Wisniewski could maybe do some. Keegan Thompson is back on this game on this team.
I'm just saying it's all hands on deck all week. If they think they can win the game, they're going to try to win every single game. And it's just like because they need every win. Like the Brewers are coasting, but I still think that they probably want to stick it up our butts too.
Yeah, I agree. I hope we do. And I hope we rest up in this Cardinal series and just come guns a-blazing and knock your asses out. That's the goal. That's what everybody wants. That's what Milwaukee wants. It's what America wants.
Scoring these games, if you're at the game and you've got your scorecard out, get 2 of them and tape them together because there's going to be a lot of swapping going on. All 28 guys are going to get used in at least one of these games.
All right. So, I want to hear predictions. What are you thinking this last series is going to look like? Are you guys still up? Are you down?
I think it'd be funny if the Cubs swept you. I think they should do it as a bit.
Yeah.
I would laugh.
As a bit.
Just for goofs.
We need some payback. I mean, we must avenge 2018 at some point. It must be avenged.
It must be.
The Cubs are 6 games back.
Mm-hmm.
There are 6 games to play. The Brewers lose 6. The Cubs win 6. They end the season tied. And let me guess, we probably don't have a fucking tiebreaker.
I'm gonna look it up right
We-
now.
I have
Dude,
no idea. But my guess would be that would be the way that this season would end. We would chase your ass
Oh, that'd be
down,
so funny.
and we would end up tied the same record. We fucking lose because of the tiebreaker.
let's see. We would have to win all 3, but yeah, against Milwaukee, the Cubs are currently 5-5.
Ooh.
Oh,
So, but you would have to win all 6 anyway. But
you have to win all 6, but then they would win the tiebreaker. And if they did that, I mean, I wouldn't even need the end of season tournament.
I mean,
I would run from here to Milwaukee with the fucking W flag.
I know you're not trying to do it, but you're giving the Cards way too much fucking credit right now. You don't think we're winning 1 against them? Come on, stop complimenting the Cards.
Oh my God. I don't like Danny said, I have not clocked the Cards in 2 or 3 months, except for to see that they're 20 games back.
yeah, no, it's a thing of beauty. In fact, if there's something that we can all take away from this season, no matter what happens in the end, it's that the Cardinals came in last.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible for the Cardinals to finish the season with only 69 wins.
Nice. I'd love 100 losses.
Yeah.
Is that still possible? Can they lose 100 still?
No, they can't.
I think I took them to win over like 90 games this year. That was a bet I placed.
Oh my God.
Money well spent.
Yeah. I do have to ask though, if we are the ones that end up being the executioner of the Cubs for this this season, Sunday, will I be allowed on this podcast, or will I just be blacklisted for?
We become a Brewers hatred podcast, and you come on every day. For the rest of the playoffs, you're on every day, just so we could shit on your team. Right before the game, too, when you're trying to get all psyched up and excited, we're just going to come in and tell you how you're going to lose. It's going to be really entertaining to, me.
I mean, you're going to be the scab that we just decide we want to just keep picking so that the wound never heals.
Yeah.
Just keep bringing Wheelo on.
So, predictions for the week. I mean, God, this Cubs team, they're very sensible. They could go 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
That's my prediction, and I don't know which 4 and which 2, because it'll probably be the opposite of what you would think.
Oh, over the next 6 games.
Do they? What do you think? I mean, that's as optimistic as I can be, everybody, about IFG. What do you got them going this week?
5-1.
Ooh,
that's really optimistic. Which game do they lose?
A random one to the Brewers just to piss me off.
Yeah.
That was their goal. That was the goal.
So Bill Sugas says 1-2 versus Atlanta and 2-1 versus Milwaukee. I feel like that 3-3 is a real thing, but I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like it's they'll win. They'll win against Atlanta and give us a little bit of hope, and then they'll lose to the Brewers. So maybe 2-4.
That's what I'm going with.
They win 2 out of 3 against Atlanta, and then get fucking swept just to make my life miserable.
What I like is that there's a really good chance that one of us is going to be right.
Yeah, I think we guessed all the scenarios.
Exactly. How about this? Did anybody say this one that they sweep the Braves, get everybody excited, and then lose all 3?
Lose all 3. No, nobody predicted that one.
Yeah. No, but yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, they're they're on a roll. Here we go. It's like when they swept the Giants and ended their season basically, and then got swept by the Rockies or something that kind of thing.
Do you just have school buses just picking people up outside of Wrigleyville and just busing them over to Miller Park for this series? Or I mean, what should we expect in terms of the Cubs turnout for this game? Because Brewers fans will show up.
They use the same.
Wait,
they use the
when
same
have they ever
buses.
shown up?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I will say this: tickets are available to the Wild Card Series as we speak, and you can buy for $40 a ticket to see this game. If you think the Cubs, you want to place that bet that the Cubs will be the wild card team playing the Brewers, because they could still be playing the Phillies. We could get the second spot. Pretty, we're tied right now, or we're not tied, but we could very easily get the second spot within this week. But if the Cubs were to play in Milwaukee next week, that's a very valuable ticket. That game will sell out, no doubt in my mind. But if it's the Marlins versus Milwaukee, no one will give a crap, and you might as well wipe your butt with your ticket, because you're not going to sell it on SeatGeek, and that $40 ticket is basically worth not even the price of cheese curds.
You may as well
We'll sell it out. You don't understand Brewers playoff baseball, baby. We pack that stadium, man. We sell every goddamn ticket in the place.
Whatever. If they're playing the Marlins, your best bet is to go up and hope you see somebody pissing in the aisles.
And it might be me, because might buy a ticket. And that's the last game I'd ever want a ticket to. It's like, can you imagine driving 2 hours to go see the Marlins and freaking Brewers in a playoff game? Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, but listen to Cubs Pod all week, and you got to be a Patreon subscriber, and then you can listen to Cubs Pod, and then you could hear about all these games.
It will be all elation or all dread.
Yeah, there will be no in between. So I do want to say that I want to do a game watch this week. And I talked to, remember Emily, who came on and talked about the Braves, and she's like, knew about all the teams. And then we're like, oh my God, a new friend, Emily. Well, anyway, I think she might be able to come on Thursday. So I'm going to try to get her on the Discord, and we can do a game watch that night. So I'm hoping we can do that. That would be against the Braves. I think that game starts at like 6:30 or something like that. But there'll be more information on the Patreon. I'll post about it if we can get that going. It's just not booked yet, but we'll try to do that. That's on the 28th. And I have to mention that the day before is Eric Wheelo's birthday.
Hey, Wednesday. There we go.
Yeah, Wednesday. You and Johnny Onomatopoeia turn. How old are you turning?
I'll be 36 years old.
Oh, you look like shit for 36.
I know, man.
I had you pegged in your at least mid-40s.
Nothing my mom hasn't said to me. All right.
So, but happy birthday, dude. Like, that's freaking awesome. Do you have anything to plug? What are you doing?
Plug. Oh, what am I doing these days?
You're on a show.
I'm on a daily morning football show with Kay Adams called Up and Adams on FanDuel TV. And we also stream live every day on YouTube. I didn't add the link yet, but I'll put the link in my bio and you can click that. Tune in. It's fun. The Bears suck, so it's been really great.
Oh my God, the Bears are so...
The Bears. Oh, man, it's lovely. Talk about false confidence once again from Chicago. You guys were so excited for this team. This was the year. Playoffs. Right, Packers are down. Jordan loves horse shit, but I'll tell you what, with Packers quarterbacks, we don't restart. We just reload. That's what we do. Oh, my God.
So gross to even hear it.
I think I might become a Packers fan just to piss people off, just because I kind of want that kind of angry vibe. I want the target on my back. I just once in my life, I want to be a winner.
Be a winner? A winner.
Yeah,
there you go.
Exactly. I don't have a football team. I'm really not a Bears fan. In fact, I laugh when they lose because it's everybody's so ridiculous around here about the Bears.
Yeah, it's so the Bears thing is so frustrating right now. Like, we're not even paying attention to the games because everybody's trying to figure out why the FBI is raiding the defensive coordinator's house.
Yeah.
Yes.
Usually not a good reason.
No.
So not only is it your and Johnny Onomatopoeia's birthday, but I want to say happy birthday to Hal Oberheide and RIP. Ari Soglin's birthday is this week. Stan Mitchell, a fine Patreon supporter. Johnny Onomatopoeia, who I already mentioned, and Eric. And on Wednesday is Levante from the Lost Boys. His birthday is this week, too. So is Ann Johnson and Kelsey Renee Kammerer, Matt's wife. It's her birthday this week. And Mike Levitto. So tons of birthdays. People screwing at Christmas.
Yeah, it's the New Year's. it's the New Year's birthday rush, or
you guys are eggnog babies.
And, Christmas and New Year's and
Eggnog babies.
Your parents got the nog. They were noggin.
Yes.
So,
happy birthday, Eric.
Hey.
ask
Rum
your
chata
mom.
shots. I'm expecting deliveries from you guys. Malort and rum chata shots.
Oh my God.
So next Monday, we're going to do the Ranto Roundtable, and I'm sure we'll have lots of news. And we're going to talk to everybody, all the usual suspects. We're going to hear from everybody. We'll start that show at 7:00. I'm hoping. I hope that works for everybody.
If everything goes right,
real long.
It's going to be a preview of the end of season tournament.
That's the hope.
Yep.
And I will be at the game on Sunday with Crawley. So we're up in the euchre seats. We're way up in right behind home plate, but way up top. So we'll be up there. So come say hi. Bring us some cheese curds for my laxative adventures that I'm gonna.
If you can't find Crawley, you'll hear him. So just listen. Yeah, not hard to find that one.
So we are going to give away a chance postcard, and you will be eligible to win the giant, fabulous bag of goodies. But we're also going to give away the Patreon prize of the month. So why don't we do one of those prizes first? And I think it should be the Patreon prize. And so this is for the In the Clutch t-shirt, and I have to add a name to it here.
Oh, nice. Oh, speaking of cheddar, Eric, what are the 5 types of Wisconsin Stup cheese?
I feel like I'm being.
I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, no, it was in the chat earlier. The Stup cheese.
Stup cheese?
Yeah, you know about this?
No, apparently I'm a poser because I'm stumped.
So I want to point out look at all these fabulous names of people that are on here. Just take a look at all of our supporters, probably some familiar names to some of you, but thank you to all of you who do support us. One of you guys is about to win an In the Clutch t-shirt. And if you want to buy an In the Clutch t-shirt, you go to intheclutch.com.
It's the only group that we know is not filled with Russian bots.
Here we go. And the winner is...
Who is it?
Congratulations. Casey Knapp, you are the winner. Congratulations. I will be contacting you soon, and I'll let you know to find out what t-shirt you would like to pick from the In the Clutch collection. So, what else? Oh yeah, TFCs. I only have one, and it kind of harkens back to something that we were talking about earlier, which was the Dan Nielsen game on Wednesday, where the Cubs blew the game to the Pirates. And this comes from the Discord, the Ranter Discord. Seth Kennedy said, "I can't help the feeling that Dan is up there thinking, these fucking idiots wanted to watch a game for my birthday. I'm going to make them miserable."
I could absolutely see that. It really was kind of one of those things where, Dan used to always call in and get you going one way, like, oh, we're making a comeback. And then he just shits all over the end of it. And you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
So. You got one? Yeah. And RIP Dan, and we miss you. I should mention that.
I showed mine earlier, Danny. It was all the idiots out there who think that being tied with the Diamondbacks is a tie when it's clearly not a tie.
Not a tie. I just thought this was funny. Somebody mentioned, I think it was Fitzy mentioned in the chat that there were $1 White Sox tickets on Thursday. And I'm like, what? People have a $1 ticket on SeatGeek or something? No, I went and looked it up. It's the actual tickets. They're listed at 89 cents.
Those are good. Those are good seats too.
Oh my God, that is amazing! Straight from the team, 89 cents.
Well, maybe we should. God, maybe we should change where the game watch is and go to this.
Right?
I mean,
well, that's why they said they're trying to do a blue out for 89 cents. They're
to be honest, like beating out the Diamondbacks really helps us. The White Sox can do us a solid right about now.
Oh, Haley Kolar says it's because they rescheduled the game.
Right. No, it's I don't want to get into it, but there were some weird shenanigans with that. Where they made them play today against the Yankees and moved the whole other game like all the way to Thursday because there was a mutual off day. It just worked out good. Free parking as well.
Well, you don't need to park there because your Uber home's an ambulance ride, right?
Well, it's in the day. I believe it's a day game too. So I don't even know if I could actually go. I think it's like 1 o'clock. I don't think I can make it, but anyhow, it's a great idea. I support it. But what else are we doing? Just giving away the prize, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Chance.
Hashtag chance, y'all.
Hashtag chance in the chat. And if you want to hang out afterwards, I'll be over in the Discord for about an hour and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. And okay, we got 20 entries, but it's usually more than this. So let's give it a draw.
Okay, I want you to read all of those names.
Big money, no whammies.
The winner is Joey W.
Joey W. Congratulations.
Joey's won a lot this year, I think, and Joey's the front runner for the Bleacher Bum Band video contest too, because he's the only one who is entered. So if you want it, so he just basically is running the contest. He's going to win a Justin Steele autograph if you guys aren't careful and don't enter.
Get on the Clock app and make us a silly video.
Yeah.
How jacked up would it be if Joey W does like 40 videos? He's the only one. Like last day, somebody pops in with like the most amazing video ever. Just one. It's like 30 seconds long, and
Like
it's clearly the winner.
Orson Welles quality, just like this incredible video, this a giant art film that ends up winning Academy Awards and stuff. Yeah.
Just do a montage of all you Cubs fans crying at the end of this series. That should win. That should be hilarious.
You know what? I will take you up on that. And then the big finale of the video, just me like laxativing all over the concourse at Miller Park.
He is so into this.
Yeah, it's a scatological end of this season. So, all right, enough with the poop jokes. I've got 2 songs to end it. One is going to be Dan Nielsen's "Woo" song, and then I'm going to play a song that I forgot about, but it's a Beatles parody song about the Cubs winning on the road. Just positive as I can be at this point. So, see you over on the Discord and Spagog.
Oxwerb.
One sad day, Ronnie couldn't woo. What would you do if it happened to you? Lose all my teeth, drink all I could. I pissed my pants and drunken dance all through the neighborhood. Maybe someday Ronnie will woo, and if he does woo, what will you do? Will you just stew, or will you woo too? Woo, woo, woo. Why don't they win it on the road? 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 Why don't they try not to suck? Why don't they win it on the road? Why don't they win it on the road? Why don't they win it on the road? Why don't they win
try not to suck? Why don't they win it on the road? 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 Why don't they try not to suck? Why don't they win it on the road? Please win tonight, please, please.